been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream. Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out RV Daydream, and I'm continuing to work on our tow vehicle and getting it ready for what I think is towable. Basically, this repair, this transformation that I'm going to make is the easiest by far, and everybody should do this. I don't normally say that for everybody that's out there, just because there's such a wide variety of users, and some people may or may not think that there's a difference, but in this case there's definitely a difference. If for anything, you don't have to ever do it again. There's just some maintenance involved. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. Your stock air filter, it's restrictive from the factory. There's not a lot of surface area for the air to be pulled through on these stock air filters. So what you need to do is upgrade, and you can do it a couple different ways. Now on my F-150, I had a cold air intake that eliminated a lot of the factory plumbing, the factory air box, and the factory filter, and put a high flow filter on there and some big pipes to pull in some air. That's not necessarily what you need to do for yours. That's kind of a step up above, and it costs a lot more to do than what I'm going to show you. What I'm talking about is replacing your stock paper filter with a K&N filter. Let me show you. This is a K&N filter. What this does is give you more surface area to trap dirt, but more importantly, to pull through air. And the way it does it is, this is like cotton. It's like cotton balls that have been strung out and put into folds and mesh. And what you do is you treat this with an oil that's specific for the filter. That oil has a tendency to take the dirt and trap it, but also pull it away to where air will still be able to penetrate through the filter. Now, when I worked at Summit Racing years ago, we had K&N come through and do a seminar, and what they said was it was like a hand with a bunch of fingers, and what happens is that dirt particle would get trapped. It pulled it down to a common area that the other fingers were attached to, and left this part still open for air to travel through. The one thing that impressed me that I saw was they had a flow test. They had basically a meter that had a constant amount of air that was being drawn through it, and they hooked up a filter to it that was a K&N filter that is just packed full of dirt. I mean, it had been used for some time. The guy said that he had it on his truck and he would do mudding with it, and there was a lot of dirt and mud that was in the filter. So what the guy did is he took the filter and knocked off the loose dirt and hooked it up to the machine that showed the flow, the airflow that comes through. And it was a real basic design. It just looked like an air cleaner lid, and it was a round filter, and he put it in there, and you could see that the air would draw through slower than what it was when it was open. But then he took a stock brand new AC Delco paper filter and put it in place of the dirty K&N filter, and that stock paper filter flowed less than what the dirty K&N did. At that point, I was convinced. Now, there's the thing that it really makes you want to buy this. At least it does for me. Not only does it add more airflow that's supposed to help fuel mileage and performance to some extent, I don't necessarily think you're going to see any gains there as far as feeling it in the seat of the pants. You may notice it in your gas mileage, possibly. It all depends. It all depends on how restrictive your factory system is. But the main thing is you don't have to buy another filter. This is a 1,000,000-mile warranty. This thing isn't going to break or come apart unless you abuse it. It's heavy, it's got rubber, it's encapsulated. I mean, it's a really good filter. The only thing you have to do is clean it and re-oil it, and I'll show you what you need for that. K&N recharger kit. Now, I've had this thing for a long time, and you can do about 5 or 6 filter cleanings. And what it does is it comes with 2 bottles. You can see on the box here. One's going to have a low concentrated soapy type of a cleaner that you spray on, let it soak, and then you hose it off. Just in your sink, outside, it doesn't make a difference. Then you let it air dry. You let it completely dry, and then you spray the recharger oil on. It's a light oil. Now, I'm going to put the link down below for this vehicle. This filter is a 33 2023, and that covers F-150, F-250, F-350. There's quite a few vehicles in that old body style that it'll cover. As far as engines, it covers a lot. I mean, this is a 460 engine, and it works. It worked on my 302 engine. The air boxes are similar. Now, as far as this goes, you can see the part number 995,000. I'll put a link down below for this, and this will be good for any vehicle. It doesn't make a difference. If you have a K&N filter, this is what you need. The other way that they described how well this thing flows is based on a piece of paper and a piece of gauze, and they said, listen, take a piece of paper and put it up to your face and try to breathe through it. Then try to do that with a big piece of gauze. They said it's essentially the same thing. And if you look, your element is kind of a fuzzy paper. It's kind of like a cardboard that's been roughened up and softened. They flow okay, but they don't flow as well as this. And those that are stock do not last forever. All right, I'm going to show you how easy it is to replace it on this vehicle, and I'm sure yours isn't much more difficult. Actually, yours is probably easier because a lot of them now use clips that you just use with your fingers. I've got to use a wrench, but still not too hard. There's just 4 bolts that hold the top down. That one there, that one there. All right, once those are loose, you can see here, the top just comes on out. And now, here's my paper filter. And in general, with filters, if you want to know if they're clean or not, I mean, you can't tell by the way they look. This one looks pretty clean. This side will be clean because this is the side that goes to the air intake. But this is the dirty side. You can hold it up to the sunlight. Basically, if you can see sunlight through it, it's pretty clean, and it will draw for sure air through it. But this is just a paper element, nothing special about it. And again, it doesn't flow near as much as the K&N. So we'll just drop the K&N in. Again, it's not very difficult at all. It just falls in place. Ta-da! And then we just put the lid back down and tighten all those bolts. Okay, so I went ahead and did the change. Now they give you a sticker that you put on here that tells the next owner of the truck, do not remove and throw away the filter. It's a reusable filter, that kind of a thing. I don't bother putting them on. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. I'm not going to put it on in this case. But it's a good investment. So I would suggest that everybody that has a motorized vehicle, whether it be your tow behind or it's your motorhome or it's your tow vehicle, go ahead and pick one up. They make them for a lot of different vehicles. And you won't be sorry just for the fact it's the last filter that you're going to have to buy. That's pretty much it. You just have to clean it and reuse it. So I'm going to put the links down below for the filter for this truck and the F-150 and other Fords of this body style, and also the recharger kit, which you need for any of them. Whenever you go in and click the link, just put in your vehicle information. It'll say what fits your vehicle, and it should dial you into the correct one. They run about $40. It all depends on which one you have. As far as the panel filters like this, the bigger ones are about $40. And again, the recharger kit, I'm not sure what that runs because this one lasts quite a few cleanings. So I bought this years ago. You may want to click on the link down below and see what it comes up as. I appreciate it, guys, and as always, I hope to see you out there. Bye.